Awakening with Kendra. Awakening with me. Awakening with Kendra. Come and heal with me. Yeah. Come and heal with me.
Peace and love, and welcome back to Awakening with Kendra. I'm so glad that you are here today and that you have decided to listen to this podcast once again. I say it all the time. I am truly, truly grateful for each and every one of you who decides to tune in whenever you have a chance to tune in and really sit with these episodes and allow them to speak to you in the moments and times where they are meant to do and bless you in the best ways. You know, before I begin, I always like to check in and see how you're doing, just to make sure that you're in alignment with this episode, that you're in alignment with yourself, and making sure that you get the best possible results after listening to this episode, this podcast. So, how are you today? Have you checked in with yourself today? Have you put some love and honored yourself today in the best way? If you haven't checked in with yourself, please make sure you do so before continuing on with the podcast today. It's important that we do so. It's important that we always make sure that we are in alignment with whatever is going on so that we aren't prematurely getting something that our spirit is trying to consume. Because sometimes we can consume something and we may not be right. It may not be in the right time and right space. We can get it and it feels good, but it may not completely connect because it's not the right time or right space. So check in with yourself. See if this is what you need right now. And if it is, please continue. And if not, no worries. Come back when you are ready, when you're in alignment, and we're here. Sitting in love with you and riding these waves. How am I today? I am learning to honor what my body needs, what my mind needs, what my spirit needs, without feeling like I am doing something wrong if I'm not doing what I feel I should be doing, if that makes any sense. Like, I've always been a person to want to get everything right and not ruffle feathers. And if I'm not in movement, then I'm lazy. And all of these things I used to tell myself all the time, over and over and over again. And it gets to a point where I am putting burnout on myself and I'm showing up, but I'm not fully there. And so today I am really working on honoring that. My body told me that I need rest. I will continue to just do whatever I feel is needed of me and ignore what the inside is telling me. And it often leads to burnout or feelings of, not fully I'm betraying myself. And then myself feels torn and all of the things. And so that's where I'm at today. I am still doing this podcast though, because this is a part of what I love to do. And although I feel like I need rest and I need to just keep listening to myself in this time, in this space of healing, this is something that is healing for me. And so even if I don't do anything else today after this, I honored myself in this healing space. And so I know I said all that to say that's where I'm at. But let's just make sure that we are taking inventory of ourselves, checking in with ourselves often to notice where we are emotionally, physically, and spiritually, and taking heed to whatever comes up and honoring that. Today's episode is our first real episode in this grief journey. And it's the first grief check-in of the season. And I like to equate this. I'm learning in this journey that in this specific season of fall or autumn, whatever you say, I've been reflecting on how change brings up grief in ways we don't always expect. And sometimes that grief can even stir feelings of doubt, like, am I handling this the right way or am I doing enough? Like I was saying earlier. These moments can feed into imposter syndrome. We all know what that is. And it makes us question our own progress or worth, even when we're showing up and doing our best. So as we move into fall, and fall, we see the leaves falling and the season is changing, the weather is changing. It's a reflection of shifts, old becoming new, new becoming old, so on and so forth. I've noticed that seasonal changes often mirror what's happening inside of me. And fall is also one of my favorite seasons. And I've always wondered, like, why would I like fall? But I feel like as I'm getting older, I'm understanding that it's due to the new becoming old and the old becoming new. And fall in particular feels like a time to release what no longer serves me or serves us. Like the trees, like I was saying, the trees shedding the leaves and the leaves falling and the weather changing. And grief for me, and I'm not sure about you, but for me, grief often shows up during these transitions in unexpected ways. Sometimes it's a quiet ache within, and sometimes it's a memory or an emotion that surfaces and catches us off guard. And when that happens, it can make us feel like we're falling behind or not measuring up, which is exactly where imposter syndrome creeps in. But in my learning, I've learned that grief doesn't follow a schedule. It doesn't wait for the right moment. Feeling it, experiencing it, even doubting yourself along the way, that's all part of your journey. And it's okay to feel both sadness and hope at the same time. Grief also has a way of showing up during new beginnings. Even in moments of excitement or opportunity, it can surprise us. And you might start something new and suddenly feel an emotional weight you weren't expecting. And that's okay. For me, it has often triggered imposter feelings, wondering if I'm doing enough, like I was saying earlier in the pod, or questioning whether I deserve joy or success while also feeling grief. And I think that's a big struggle. Not I think, I know that is a big struggle for me, allowing myself to be happy and seeing the beauty in the spaces that may not be so beautiful in certain moments, but just allowing myself really to be happy and experiencing the things that bring me joy. And right now, in my grief journey, I'm really trying to understand what joy and happiness look like for me outside of being a mom, outside of being a spouse, outside of school, outside of, you know, all the things that are politically correct or that you should be doing. What does joy and happiness really look like for me? And how do I take the time to do that and honor myself within this space? So if you've ever felt that, just know that you're not alone. You're not alone. Never. Whatever you're feeling within that, having these imposter feelings, know that you're not alone. And I just have, it's bringing up a lot of different things for me. I'll say this journey of grief, the little one, the little 7-year-old who experienced it first, is like begging me to see her, to hear her, to learn her, to just be there, sit with her, feel her. And it's it's difficult sometimes even trying to recognize who that person is because of everything else that has gone on in my life from the time I was 7 up until now at 36. And my identity has just been wrapped around my responsibilities. And I just went from 7 to preteen to mom to spouse to all of the things. And we never really sat with the grief to really understand it. And so I am in a very weird space because I really don't recognize myself. I know I'm doing the podcast and I'm doing the things that I know in my heart loves it. Music, my heart loves it. The healing and helping other people heal, my heart loves it. But what am I outside of that? Or maybe this is all who I am. Who knows? I don't know. And so that's where I'm at. And that's where this journey of grief has brought me. But the small thing that you can do right now is notice it. Just observe without judgment. That's what I'm trying to do. And maybe take a minute to write a line in your journal. I notice grief when, or I feel imposter syndrome when. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's simply an acknowledgement, a way to honor your feelings without letting them define you. Fall also reminds me of endings. Some endings are obvious, some are quiet, and perhaps you're letting go of something this season, or maybe it's something unresolved you've been carrying. Small acts, small rituals can help us honor these endings and our feelings. Like we could light candles, or listen to a song, write a note, or just pause for a few deep breaths. I like to do the box breathing, 4-4-4. You breathe in for 4, you hold for 4 seconds, and then you release for 4 seconds, and you are just centering yourself. And even a short reflection can help you release tension and center yourself. And by doing these small acts, you remind yourself that your feelings, grief, doubt, or imposter moments are valid. You're creating a space to honor them instead of pushing them away. Let me repeat that. You're creating a space to honor them instead of pushing them away. Because some of us have been taught that we don't have time to feel. We don't have time to acknowledge things that make us uncomfortable and cause us to not be okay with ourselves or within spaces or with people or whatever. But in creating the space to honor these feelings can can help us in giving ourselves and honoring ourselves in such a way that we're no longer stuck in these feelings. We understand when we need to shift, and we understand what we need in the moments where these feelings are showing up. Because these feelings are speaking to us, letting us know what we need in those moments and what we don't. Now, as we close today's check-in, I want you to take a deep breath in. So we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. We're going to hold it for 4 seconds, and then we're going to release. So take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4 seconds. And release. Remember, it's okay to move at your own pace. Grief doesn't have a timeline, and feelings of doubt or imposter syndrome are part of being human. You're allowed to feel it all. You are allowed to feel it all. As you carry today's conversation into your own life, remember, healing doesn't have to be rushed. It unfolds through reflection, through music, within soul-centered spaces we nurture, and by remembering to love on yourselves and each other. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, Awakening with Kendra. And know that, remember, it's not just Awakening with Kendra. That's the title, but we are awakening with ourselves. So go forth. Whenever you hear this, lean into it, receive it in the way that is meant to be received for you, and honor yourself in the best way possible. Peace and love.